Hi, I started a new one. Can you guys hear me? Let me know if you can hear me. Then I'll play my one song again. Is anybody here? Sierra, Cat Swan, the other people? I deleted that live because I went in and checked. There was no sound whatsoever. I'm definitely live. Yay! Can you hear me, Tams? I'm thinking you can because you've got little hands up. Can you guys hear me? Yes or no? Yes. Oh my gosh. So I deleted the other live, went in, couldn't even hear the first song, deleted the other live, and I'm going to start over. Play one little song by the Gray Room. It's called Special. Little jiggity jig jig. Enjoy the R&B. Sierra. Gotta have a little R&B. Hi, Freeside. Wink, wink. Okay. How is everyone tonight? I've had a busy day. I colored my hair. It's black. This is groovy. I know it's so groovy. My hair, Sierra, is as black as that avatar picture with blue highlights on top. It's called Starry Night. Hi, Mary Jane Doe. I'm a little tired. I got up early, got some things taken care of today, and I'm in my pajamas, not a stitch of makeup on, with my hair jet black, and I'll show it tomorrow. Yeah, I was just sick of the burgundy and the red, and then the highlights come in orange, and then as it fades, God knows what color it is. So, yeah, and I've been black before. This color, it's just my hair was longer, and it was, oh my gosh, maybe 7 years ago or so, or maybe it was longer. But I was curious about snowmen, where they originated from. It just kind of came to my mind, and then I started Googling and looking into it. It's not what you guys expect. It's just the weirdest thing. I mean, you'd think it would just be some a simple sort of American idea. No, I believe it originated in Asia. So let's let's see. Where did the snowman originate from? And I thought it went well with my little thumbnail with the bunny rabbit acting like the hair dryer is a pew pew, demanding the snowman's carrot noses. Thought that was kind of funny. So, thanks everyone for being here. A snowman building is an ancient tradition with evidence pointing to medieval Europe. Earliest drawing is in 1380, and even earlier mentions in Japanese texts around 1000 AD, evolving from simple winter fun to a festive holiday icon celebrated globally through art, songs like Frosty the Snowman, and record breaking structures in places like China and the North St. Paul, Minnesota, which I've actually lived in St. Paul, Minnesota. I went and visited my aunt for a year. She was from St. Paul. I was 20. Early origins and European roots. Medieval Europe. The practice dates back to the Middle Ages, 14th century, used by both children and adults as entertainment or even political commentary, as seen in the 1380 illustration. Japan. Court nobles in Japan. Hi, AK 47. You're going to learn more than you even want to know about snowmen tonight if you hang around. Yeah, I'm snuggly in my pajamas and not wanting to turn the camera on, but I will tomorrow. Thank you for being here. And I thought it fit, with the idea of my thumbnail. So, court nobles in Japan built large snowballs for fun around 1000 AD, featuring two-tiered figures, different from the typical European three-ball snowman. Evolution into modern icon. Victorian era. Snowmen became more popular as winter holidays grew, symbolizing joy and becoming family-centered traditions. 20th century, the snowman gained global fame through Frosty the Snowman, a song and a story that solidified its place as a beloved holiday. Yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, it's actually leggings and a nice fuzzy warmish top, which is a pajama top, but yeah. Um, so symbol in the US and beyond. Art and culture. The tradition continues through artistic expressions from massive sculptures in Harbin, China, to modern art installations like the frost-coated copper snowman sculpture seen in museums. Community spirit. In North St. Paul, Minnesota, the tradition of building the world's largest snowman began in 1969 as a civic pride project. right. During the Middle Ages, snowmen were something of a phenomenon. Not only were children making snowmen, but adults were using the figure as a means of expression. Outdoor galleries were set up to display the different artistic takes on snow creation. People would walk about town discussing the merit of each frozen display. In 1994, a young up and coming artist by the name of Michelangelo was commissioned by Piero de' Medici to create a snowman for the ruler. 17 years later, the city of Brussels would use the cheerful tradition to make a point. The miracle of 1511 began after the 6 week long winter of death. The people of Belgium were starving and freezing while the ruling house of Habsburg lived in opulence. 110 satirical and extremely obscene snowmen and snow women were displayed to decry the unjust treatment of the peasants. A snow nun seducing a snow man and a naked snow boy, oh Lord, urinating on a drunken snowman are just a few of the more outlandish creations. Unfortunately for the people of Brussels, when the snow melted, it caused a massive flood. America was also involved in their own snow covered controversy. The Schenectady Massacre of 1690 is one of the most horrific events in American history. The Dutch Fort Schenectady was a remote settlement that lived in everyday fear of attack. A brutal snowstorm pounded that fort and its doors were frozen open. The unfortunate soldiers asked to guard the gates decided to instead build snowmen and dress them as guards. 210 Canadian and Native American soldiers were not fooled. 60 villagers were left for dead and the fort was ransacked. As society progressed, the snowman began to take on a more whimsical nature. In 1818, Zurich, Switzerland began celebrating the beginning of spring by blowing up snowmen. This tradition is still alive to this day. On the third Monday of April, a cotton snowman is paraded through the city stuffed with dynamite to the center of town where it is destroyed. With the help of Prince Albert and Hans Christian Andersen, the snowman was given its holiday christening. Prince Albert brought the holiday traditions of Germany to England, while Hans Christian Andersen used his storytelling ability to further cement the snowman's mythos. Many of our famous Christmas traditions come from Germany. The Yule log and the most famous Christmas icon, Santa Claus, both find roots in Germany. Even Nazi Germany provided holiday furs. Before Frosty, there was Der Schneemann, the story of a magical snowman that gets chased by a dog and eventually melts. The German government and the propaganda machine of the Hitler regime used the cartoon as an example of Germany's superior artistry. With the success of Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, Jack Rollins, Steve Nelson, and Gene Autry made another Christmas classic. Frosty the Snowman peaked at number 7 on the charts in 1950. The musical release coincided with a Little Golden Book released to further propel the marketability of Frosty. In 1954, UPA Studios acquired the story of Frosty and created a 3-minute short, but in 1969, the good people at Rankin Bass produced the 25-minute classic we know and love today. Today's snowmen are often thought of as a fun family activity or a children's cartoon, but throughout the ages, snowmen have played an important role in society. Whether it's the Sapporo Snow Festival in Japan or the 122-foot tall snow lady of Bethel, Maine, these creations made of snow are ingrained in humanity. It seems as long as man has walked this earth and snow has fallen from the sky, we have been compelled to create snowmen. Mm. Like summer sand castles and the colorful leaves of autumn, the snowman is a symbol of winter all over the world. It has become so synonymous with the season that when the ground is blanketed with the snow and the fun and frivolity of building our carrot nosed friends can begin, we seldom stop to think about where exactly the tradition came from. It is a supremely difficult question to definitively answer. By their very nature, snowmen are ephemeral, melting away almost as quickly as they appear. But historian Bob Eckstein has traced their lineage back to its earliest known origins. For this, he had to venture back all the way to the 14th century in the margins of a 1380 Book of Hours, alongside a description of Jesus' crucifixion. There is an illustration of a snowman melting beside a fire, which today we would recognize as anti Semitic. This first ever known representation of a surprisingly dark tone is a far cry from the character we know today. But don't worry, the snowman story gets rather more jolly from here on out. Eckstein aptly calls snow free art supplies, and while it is usually used in the humble three sphere constructions of ordinary people, some of history's finest artists have worked in the medium to create frozen depictions of ourselves. In 1494, none other than Michelangelo, is it Michelangelo or Michelangelo? It's Michelangelo, right? Was commissioned by Piero the Unfortunate of Florence to build a giant snowman in the Medici courtyard. No record of it exists, but we can certainly imagine its magnificence. On New Year's Eve, 1856, in Brattleboro, Vermont, wow, I know where that is, a young Larkin Mead, later one of America's most celebrated sculptors, created a snow angel that was made famous around the world by an article in the New York Tribune. The Frozen Forest Gump. Snowmen continue to crop up at important points in history like a frozen forest gump. They have been a tool to raise a morale in times of strife. During the 1511 Winter of Death in Brussels, Belgium, local government organized a snowman festival in an attempt to improve spirits in the midst of 6 weeks of freezing temperatures. Many enterprising citizens used the opportunity to build frozen caricatures of local officials. And in 1870, French soldiers fighting in the Franco Prussian War constructed snow sculptures of inspiring acts of resistance. The earliest photograph we have of a snowman is also one of the first photographs of anything, shortly after the invention of the camera. In 1845, a Welsh woman named Mary Dillwyn was experimenting with the new technology. A snowman was among her first subjects. Humans have a natural desire to recreate ourselves, and of course cannot resist the urge to make our creations bigger than anyone else's. In 1939, Dartmouth College students constructed a 38-foot, 40-ton version of the college's founder and first president, Eleazar Wheelock. Wow, that was in 1939. They broke the Guinness World Record for the biggest snowman in 1987 with a 47.5-foot saxophone playing behemoth before the citizens of Bethel, Maine unveiled Angus, King of the Mountain, in 1999, standing at 113 feet, which is 10 stories tall, with trees for arms and tires for buttons. It held the crown until 2008 when the people of the town outdid themselves with Olympia, a 122-foot tall snow woman that holds the record to this day. Good grief, you guys. Snow sculpture is one of the oldest, most universal forms of folk art, but it has taken on new forms in our modern culture. Snow people have become unrecognizable figures in the media, starting with Frosty the Snowman in the 1950s and 60s. They have been employed as marketing tools, such as an advert for Campbell's soup and reimagined as villainous characters as in the Batman comics. It's somewhat surprising to find such a complex history behind such a seemingly innocuous and playful figure of winter fun. So, if snow falls this Christmas and you find yourself adding the finishing touches to yet another incarnation of our frozen friends, you can consider yourself part of a rich and varied tradition, stretching back much longer than you might have imagined. Wow. Like I said to AK-47, this is probably more than you'd want to know about snowmen. Very possibly. Let's see if there's anything else interesting. Yeah, kid pajamas won't work, I guess. This is, gee. So, interesting. Wow. In Switzerland, they build a snowman every year and burn it to celebrate the end of winter. Goodness gracious. And I know I said that a few minutes ago, but it's weird, you guys, to see a snowman. The thing is, it's not made of snow. It looks like a snowman, but I mean, I don't know. It just looks like something with maybe hay or something and then clothing over it. And that's how they celebrate the end of their winter in Switzerland. It's just so bizarre. Now, anthropomorphic paper mache. Oh, is that what it's made of? Okay, sidekick. Yeah, it actually does look like that. Now, I've never heard of this word, anthropomorphic. It says a snowman is an anthropomorphic snow sculpture often built in regions with sufficient snowfall. Now, this is the thing. Different parts of Washington state where I live have a lot of snow. 30 miles from here is Mount Baker. People ski down that, all kinds of things. My daughter has sled down it before. I've never even been there. And that's just facts. And I've lived here for what, 30 some years? But this town that I'm in, near the bay, 2 hours from Seattle, which I've said many times on my programs, but now I kind of just don't anymore to be more safe. We're lucky if we have snow on Christmas. All right. Even when it rains and rains like this, if it would just get cold enough, that rain could turn into snow. So I think it was 4 years ago, right on Christmas Day, we had snow. It was so beautiful. And that's another reason I appreciate the snow more is we don't have it every year here. So, yeah, the little kids run out to the playground and make their little snowmen, and most of them don't have any gloves. I can't tell you how many pairs of scarves and little gloves sitting on the dock of the bay, and gloves and hats we've given away. I'll just throw them over the third story, railing thing and say, "Here you go. You can keep this." And they're so happy because their little hands, they're just red. I don't understand why parents. I mean, simple things like that, like if you know snow's coming, make sure your kids, or in case there's snow, have some little gloves so they don't freeze to death when they're playing. I mean, we're talking many children. Okay, so In many places, typical snowmen consist of three large snowballs of different sizes with some additional accoutrements for facial and other features. Due to the sculptability of snow, there is also a wide variety of other styles. Common accessories include branches for arms, a rudimentary smiley face with a carrot used for a nose. Clothing, such as a hat or scarf, may be included. The low cost and availability of materials mean snowmen are usually abandoned once completed. Snow becomes most suitable for packing when it approaches its melting point and becomes moist and compact. Making a snowman of powdered snow is difficult since it will not stick to itself, and if the temperature of packing snow drops, it will form an unusable, denser form of powdered snow called the crust. Thus, a good time to build a snowman may be the next warm afternoon directly following a snowfall with a sufficient amount of snow. Using more compact snow allows for the construction of a large snowball by simply rolling it until it grows to the desired size. If the snowball reaches the bottom of the grass, it may pick up traces of grass, gravel, or dirt. In North America, snowmen are generally built with three spheres representing the head, torso, and lower body. In the United Kingdom, two spheres are used, one sphere representing the body and one representing the head. The usual practice is to then decorate and optionally dress the snowman. Sticks can be used for arms, a face is traditionally made with stones or coal for eyes, and a carrot for a nose. All right. Interesting. Some are decorated with a corncob pipe, or a button nose, or coal eyes, and an old silk hat, depicted as a top hat. Okay, so there's that beautiful movie where it's just music, but it's really kind of sad. Remember that snowman comes to life and takes that young boy, he's what, maybe 10 years old, and flies with him, like all over the United States, I almost think, and then brings him back, and then he tries to have him inside the house, but then he melts. I mean, it's really kind of sad, but it's beautiful. Have you guys seen that before? I think it's literally called either The Snowman or just plain Snowman. They play it at the little children's museums all the time. And I think it's done by somebody in the UK. I think it's an English film. Hmm. What on earth? All right, I guess I'll read a few of these. Bully, a French animated series about a snowman's adventures in a magical place. Hi, Daniel Berry Sports. Uh, the Der Schneemann, a 1943 animated short film created in Germany. I already mentioned that one. Then there's Doc McStuffins features a plush snowman named Chili. Then there's the Peanuts comic strip, has a number of strips where the characters build snowmen in the winter months. One memorable serial has the gang forbidden to build snowmen because they lack the necessary government permits. What? Defiantly, Charlie Brown builds an unauthorized snowman in the middle of the night to serve as a test case. Okay, I never saw that Peanuts one. Jack Frost. Okay, not to be depressing because I really don't like horror movies, but this is what it says. Jack Frost, a 1996 horror movie in which a serial killer is transformed into a snowman. Okay, never heard of it. Jack Frost, a 1998 movie with Michael Keaton in which he wakes up as a snowman after a car accident. I've seen the previews to that. I've never seen it. Oswald features a snowman named Johnny who runs an ice cream shop. Oh, it is. See? The Snowman. British picture book. 1978 by Raymond Briggs and animation 1982. Directed by Diane Jackson about a boy who builds a snowman. That's right, he builds the snowman that comes alive and takes him to the North Pole. That's right, so he flies over many states, right, and takes him to the North Pole. And it's British, and it's called The Snowman. Hi, Moonlight Stargazer 777. Hi, you guys. So good to see you all. Thank you. Calvin and Hobbes, an American cartoon by Bill Watterson, contains many instances of Calvin building snowmen, many of which are deformed or otherwise abnormal, often used to poke fun at the art world. Wow. I am. I'm just laying on my bed, just probably going to go to bed in an hour and a half. I've had kind of a long day. I colored my hair. It's so black. It's so black. Hopefully, when I have some makeup on, and look a little more normal, it's just going to take a little to get used to it. It's like when you put it on, I was like, oh my God, it's called Starry Night. I'm like, this isn't even going to work. But right as that yellowish gray tint the coloring that you pour on your hair, all over my reddish brown, my chocolate cherry. Oh my gosh. And I left it in 45 minutes. So, but I wanted to change. I wanted to change. And I also wanted to look more like my avatar because I do really like this avatar. It's kind of how I feel a lot, just kind of thinking. I feel like I'm always thinking lately, trying to figure stuff out in life or something. Okay, so all right. Hans Christian Andersen wrote a winter fairy story, The Snowman. Dennis Jurgensen's horror story, The Snowman. Oh my gosh, you guys, about a boy traumatized by being locked in a meat freezer. What's wrong with these people that make this horror? R.L. Stein's Goosebumps story titled Beware the Snowman featured a monstrous snowman. And then we've got the 2013 film Frozen, features a living snowman named Olaf who longs to see summer. The film score includes a song about building a snowman. Wow. Wow. Yeah, I saw that years ago with my daughter. Well, I mean, they have to take something so special and so kind of nice or, whatever and turn it into some kind of horror. I just, uh, don't know why that has to be. But like I said at the beginning of this live, you will hear all you ever want to know about snowmen. And many people have snow, apparently down south. I'm sure there's parts of Washington that have snow, but yeah. We don't have any snow here yet. So, you guys, I'm going to end it there. Little half-hour show on Snowman. Hope you think the thumbnail's funny that I have for my live with the bunny rabbit using the dryer like it's, pointing it at them like it's a pew pew, wanting their carrots. You can have our snow, lol. I love snow, but like I was saying, I mean, I loved snow before because I, grew up in my teens in Vermont, did a lot of skiing and, sledding and all those kinds of things. So I miss it, right? But not even hardly having it here for Christmas, in Beeham here. I just when it snows, it's really nice. Now I know it's not the easiest thing to drive in, and I don't drive. A bunch of carrots. There we go. Mary Jane Doe and the carrots. Boy, that brings back memories from that one song, right? But thanks to the people making snowmen out there in the world, the 8 now, I think there were 11 watching. I appreciate you guys too. Please hit the like if you're willing and subscribe to me if you want to. And I am going to end this and hopefully see you tomorrow in person. Or not in person, but physically see you. Or, you guys can physically see me. I can't see you, but hopefully I'll see you tomorrow. All right. Love you guys. Have a good night. Thank you.